Afternoon, everyone. We are joined here with world number 7, JJ Spaun. JJ, welcome to a place that's familiar as a San Diego State alum. What's it like to be back and making your 10th start here at the Farmers Insurance Open?
Yeah, it's always fun coming back here. A place that's near and dear to my heart, going to San Diego State and being an alumni. So, this is my 10th season, my 10th start. I've never missed this tournament, and it's one of those spots in the schedule that I always make sure I come to. So I'm really excited to get back and compete at championship venue.
Perfect. With that, we're going to go ahead and open up to media. Raise your hand. You guys have a question? We'll get a microphone over to you. Start off in the front here. We'll get a mic over to Mark.
JJ, congratulations on your last year. How has it changed you? I mean, what's the biggest change that you've noticed?
I mean, I get recognized a lot more than I have the last 9 years, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of just a constant reminder of, the success I've had and all the hard work that has paid off. I think, just having a lot of influence is kind of crazy. Like, people have reached out, whether it's, golf related or personal related things. It's cool that people are looking at me as kind of an advocate of whatever that is. So, have a little bit more of a platform now, which is a really cool feeling.
And I wanted to ask you, last year you said something talking about the previous year when you almost lost your card, and you thought that might be it, and you had a good career, and you were sort of coming to terms with it. What would you have done if you didn't get your card? Did you have anything in mind? I mean, school teacher, golf coach? I mean, what would you have done?
I think I'd probably try to grind it out, at least on the Corn Ferry or in conditional status, whatever I had. But, if that didn't work out or pan out, I would, do some sort of coaching, I would think. I had a cool relationship with my high school coach, and I think coaching like high school golf would be kind of fun, keep it local and not doing too much traveling as far as, college golf. So that's always been something in the back of my mind. But I got 5 years now guaranteed, so yeah, things are a lot different.
Brody right behind him.
JJ, you've talked often about how that player's experience just kind of made you realize like you could do it, and then each week you go up knowing you could. Now you're knowing what that feels like for a year now. I'm curious, when you look back to the years before that, what did you actually feel going to tee it up on a Thursday? What was your feeling going into a week?
In the past, I just was trying to make cuts, trying to not play myself out of the weekend Thursday and Friday. And now, I think I turned that corner, in 2025, halfway through, where I had to play really well to keep my fully exempt card. So just making cuts wasn't going to do it. So I had to just say, I'm going for broke. I have nothing to lose. I mean, although I had something to lose, I had to use that mindset to kind of keep the aggression there and play to the ability that I knew I could play at. And when I did that, in 2024 and played well to keep my card, I just kept rolling with that same mindset and not being afraid. And, it's done really well for me.
I mean, this might be a dumb question, but like tangibly, what difference does that confidence make when you're going to hit a shot?
I think, there's a lot of fear in golf. It's easy to think about misses. It's easy to think about the what ifs and to not hit it there and not hit it there. But I didn't care anymore because I was content with what I did. I said, if this is how I go out, this is how I go out, but I'm going to go down swinging. And, I was able to keep that mindset, all throughout last year, and it did really well for myself.
Here on the left, then we'll go to Todd.
JJ, you always shared an alma mater with Xander, but now you share a major championship winner, Ryder Cup teammates. How has that influenced your relationship with him, if at all?
It has a lot. I mean, we've been pretty close throughout our careers, but he was at a completely different trajectory, and we didn't overlap during the San Diego State days. So it was really cool to, get to know him a lot on the Corn Ferry Tour when we played out there, and then he just took off. He was off and running, when we both got our cards. But I always felt like we had a great connection, great chemistry. We had a chip on our shoulders growing up, had to kind of prove everyone that we were good enough to compete. And, his success really inspired me. He's a great player and he's a great friend. And it's just so cool to, see him succeed and then kind of him give that feeling back to me when I was successful last year. And, it transpired even through the Ryder Cup. We had a really good match Saturday, being partners, and just experiences that we'll have for the rest of our life.
Todd here in the back.
JJ, we've known for a few weeks now that Brooks Koepka is coming back to the PGA Tour from LIV. It was announced today that Patrick Reed eventually is going to come back to the PGA Tour as early as this fall. What is your reaction to Patrick Reed coming back to the tour? And secondly, what does that do to the competitive brand of the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I think, people want to be on the PGA Tour. It's the best tour in the world, the most competitive tour. I think, Patrick will be a good asset to this tour, and I think it just speaks volumes to where the tour is headed. And I think it's going to add even more competition, for us that have been here while they left. And adding Brooks and Patrick now, it's just strengthening our tour, which I think is great.
And over here on the left side.
Circling back to, your time at San Diego State, I feel like everybody hears the name San Diego State and associates it with a basketball school, but clearly between you, Xander, Justin Hastings, who's an up-and-coming star, to cement it as a golf school and put that on the map, what has that kind of meant to you and that group?
Yeah, it's great to, we've had some great alumni. I mean, Scott Piercy, God, I might mess this up. Lenny Clements, is that who it is? Yeah, U.S. Open winner. He went there. We're a sneaky good school, and I think my coach has done a really good job of, recruiting and trying to get the best players he can. Considering, it's competitive these days, with funding and NIL stuff, but he's done a really good job, and hopefully, kind of the success Xander and I have had, and Justin now, and maybe that can kind of, push the program even further to get better players.
And then just a second part to that, you've finally won a major, but to win at Torrey Pines, how much is that kind of a white whale for you, having the local ties here?
I haven't one. Did you say win here at Torrey Pines?
How much would winning here mean
I'm
to
sorry.
you in that sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is, heading into this year, I'm like, this has always been a course that I feel like is a U.S. Open style test, for just a standard PGA Tour event. And I think, after winning last year at the U.S. Open at Oakmont, it's just given me more belief that, this course is big and it's tough, but so is the place that I won. So it's given me a lot of confidence, and it's a place that I'm really excited to tee it up and see if I can, add one to the list and then be, pretty much cherry on the cake.
On the right side, we have Jay in the front.
You mentioned Justin. What's your relationship like with him? How well do you know him? I mean, you guys shared the ceremony at the U.S. Open last year. How familiar are you with his game, and what do you see for his future?
Honestly, I don't know a ton about Justin. I knew who he was coming through San Diego State and watching his success at the collegiate level. And it was pretty funny. We didn't really run into each other very much, even though he had a few starts on tour. And then, he qualified for the U.S. Open last year. And literally the only time I actually fully talked to him and introduced myself and met him was at the ceremony on the 18th green on Sunday, which was really cool. And I just know he's a great player. I mean, obviously he's the low am. He's, killing it on the Korn Ferry already and contending. And he's just going to grow, and he's going to, just get really good. And I'm excited to see his progress.
Moving back over to the left side, very back.
Hi, JJ. You talk about your love for the course. I'm interested in kind of your thoughts on the design and the types of shots that are required, and maybe a hole or a stretch of holes that you think really illustrate that as to why you love the course.
I think getting off the tee is a big, big hurdle, I guess you can say. The rough is really intense and thick, and the course is long, so hitting fairways is really important. I think, a good stretch out here on the South Course that comes to my mind where it's fairways are huge is probably, 10 through 17. Like you're just, it's like, I mean, that's, I mean, I would say every hole, literally, but 10, 12 straight into the wind, like a 500-yard hole. 13, it's like such a long par 5, but that tee shot is so hard that, even if you hit the fairway, you're still laying up to like a really tight spot. 14, 15. I mean, it just goes on and on. So I think getting off the tee is a really important factor this week.
We're going to come back up here in the front, Mark.
When Xander was asked about your success last year, he said he wasn't surprised, and the way he put it, hopefully I'm paraphrasing this correctly, is sort of that there's good players out there, but they need that little bit of confidence to turn the corner. I wonder if you could sort of reflect and explain that, how just that one shot of confidence makes you go from a player who is in jeopardy of losing his card to top 10 in the world.
Yeah, I think there's a trend in my career where I've kind of dealt with confidence, and whether it was collegiate golf, mini tour golf, Corn Ferry, there was always moments where, I feel like I turned the corner with some little thing that, jump-started me or springboarded me to the next level. And it's just kind of increasingly been a little different every single time. So it's tough to say, but I think being able to see results is the best way to build confidence. So when I knew my back was up against the wall last year and I kind of like bared down and kept my card, that really gave me the confidence that I can play like on really, immense pressure. There's nothing like playing and knowing you can lose your job. And I did that, at the Players. I was really nervous there and, didn't win, but I used that experience for the U.S. Open. And then, I was really nervous at the Ryder Cup and went back to the experience at the U.S. Open knowing like, hey, you've been in some really intense positions and have done well. And, having those past experiences are what makes you capable of succeeding.
Directly behind Mark, we have Cameron. Then we'll go to the left.
You talk about this come up that you've had from being back against the wall to top 10 player in the world. Do you ever still look at your world ranking right now and think, how in the world am I the 7th player in the world?
Yeah, usually like I'm just like, what? Like I don't even have to go to like the full 100 ranking to see it on the OWGR website. It's just like right there on the front page because it only shows the top 10. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's something that I felt like deep down I had in me. I never really thought it would ever happen. But I'm just, proud of the way I've worked really hard and had the right team around me to support me and just try to reach the most of my potential.
How much have your goals changed in the last year? Like maybe what you were shooting for in 2025 compared to now? What's kind of the different outlook you have on what you want to accomplish with not only this season but the rest of your career?
Yeah, I think, before this year I wasn't really in any majors. I had to still qualify or squeak in the top 50 to qualify for events that, need that fit that criteria. But I won a major, and I feel like, if I keep doing the right things and doing the things that I did last year to set myself up for that, like if I'm in contention, I truly believe that I can win another one. So I think that's the biggest goal that I've had since then was just, the fact that I did win a major. I believe that I can win one. I feel like, you bust one door down, you can, have the proof to keep going. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Very front left.
I wonder, one of world golf's greatest professionals would possibly answer an amateur's question. The teacher, Harvey Pinnock, he had a phrase, take dead aim. Did that ever occur to you, and do you take dead aim when you are over a ball?
Yeah, usually. That's like my style of play. I think my caddy has learned that. We've been together for 4 years, and he's just always said that I'm not afraid to like go for the shot, whether it's a dumb shot or not. Like I've always feel like I can pull it off, and I try not to play away from pins, and sometimes I do, and I still end up hitting it at the pins. So I don't know. I think that's just in my nature to play aggressive and not be afraid to pull off the shot. And sometimes it's worked, and sometimes it hasn't.
Thank you.
Unless there are any others? Perfect. JJ, thank you for the time and good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.